Hello, homies. Welcome back to another adventure. It is UConn and Xavier Day for previews, and yeah, we got a good one for you.
Yeah, we're going to the Big East. We haven't touched on any teams. Probably two of three will hit
Yep.
in the
Yep.
next week. But yeah, Xavier, UConn, two of the best teams. I think
Yeah,
two.
Marquette gets
Yeah,
overlooked a little bit because
yeah,
of uh, more personnel wise than resume wise, I'd say.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably. But no, these two teams are definitely. I don't know. They've caught a lot of eyes. You have. I guess let's start with Xavier, but they are 15 in the nation right now. Finished second in the Big East, like a real good conference.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
A very
Villanova's
deep
down,
conference
but
this year. Yeah.
yeah,
Villanova was down. Look at that. They're kind of coming back, but
probably not enough.
no, definitely not enough. But
Yeah. So Xavier 23-8 on the year. Some pretty big wins, including the team that actually beat undefeated UConn back on New Year's Eve.
yeah.
I don't know. It was a great game. I got to see that actually.
Yeah, I think a
Which
lot of
yeah,
people went into this season just expecting UConn to be pretty far and away better than most of the other teams, but Xavier really stepped up with Sean Miller this year. Marquette took a huge step forward with Shaka Smart.
yeah,
Um, I'm missing somebody. Who was I thinking of? Creighton. People thought Creighton would be pretty good, so I guess maybe that's not exactly true, but um, yeah, no, just a really good conference, and it was pretty impressive the way that Xavier was able to manage their way through it. They beat UConn both times,
yeah.
so
And their non-conference, they played a good non-conference schedule too. They tough loss to Indiana at home, and they lost to like Gonzaga and
mhm.
Duke on a neutral floor. I think it was like Portland or the
Yeah.
PK event.
I remember watching the
Yeah,
Gonzaga game earlier this year, and I was thinking, boy, Xavier would be really good if they were making shots because they were getting
yeah,
open looks. They just couldn't make anything.
yeah. Well, that's a weird thing though. This team is probably, I mean, obviously not every night, but they're one of the best offensive teams in the country,
Yeah,
actually.
definitely.
Um,
And their
yeah,
defense has really taken a step up too.
yeah.
Since the beginning of the year. Early, they were struggling on defense, but they kind of got it figured out once Big East play started. So
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. They about almost 20 assists a game. You have them getting above 80 a game too, just kind of maybe 81. And that's I don't know. I think that's their identity. Defensively, they have buckled down a bit, but
mhm.
without their offense, I don't know how good they are. I
Right,
guess.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I I just recently watched the
oh yeah,
UConn
yeah.
UConn Xavier game from
The most
January
recent, yeah.
25th over again, and their defense was pretty smothering for a majority of the game until Jordan Hawkins kind of just started making everything. He's a stud, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, I think they're pretty good defensively. Good enough to get it done if their offense plays well. So
yeah. And actually, the small details matter. They have 82 points per game and 19 assists, not 20. But point is, great team. Also, a big thing I think that's relevant to March before we like get into players is, um, they played 15 games that have been like within 5 points this year, which is really like especially when you're
yeah,
winning the vast majority of those, that's really good experience. We talked about
mm-hmm.
UCLA, which is a good team, but they're not even
Have it.
close to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So you're
They
gonna have to
were
win tight ones.
they're a really resilient team. They went into UConn into Gamble Pavilion, and UConn made a couple huge runs, and that crowd was just ready to erupt. And both times they stepped up and kind of shut it down and scored a couple baskets. I know it got cut to a 3-point game, and then they went on a 10-0 run with like 7 minutes left to get it right back. And I don't know. It was really impressive to see those guards handle themselves and kind of take over and just kind of say we're not going to lose.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think a big part of that is just they're an older team. Uh, they have like Sule Boom is the point guard. He's a transfer from UTEP, but he's a senior. You have Colby Jones. He's a junior. And then what Jack Nunge, which
Yeah,
he's
Nunji.
yeah Nunge in the interior. He's a senior as well. So really, like you would think. I know Sean Miller's coached there before, but you might think, I would expect a few years to get it going. But I think when you come in with an experienced team, he probably maybe brought some guys, or he swayed them to come play for him, and they got rolling. They didn't waste any time. Like good for Miller, I guess, and Xavier for hiring.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you like to see him successful? Are you kind of over him? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't wish anything bad on the guy, of course. Even like coaching. I do have mixed feelings because I think some fans from Arizona are a bit like delusional, and they view it as proof that, I don't know. There's this idea, and he was a hell of a coach for us, but I think it's probably best he moved on. He was not coaching this good offensively. Part of the inspiration came from Arizona last year after he left.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's kind of funny, but
yeah, it's like he's a better coach, and maybe this Miller would do more with who we had, but
yeah,
he did a lot, but we couldn't quite get over the hump, and there was bad things going on, even if not the major allegations made. There was proof of
And one thing
stuff.
you didn't even mention Fremantle, did you?
Not yet. No. That's a big thing.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest parts of Xavier is that one of their better inside players, Zach Fremantle, is out for the rest of the season. I would say the
best inside player. Nunge it's not like a huge drop off. Nunge. I thought you were doing like a nickname, actually.
No, that's how they pronounce it.
Nunge.
That's how the announcers pronounce it. Who am I to tell them?
No, yeah, Nunge.
He's pretty good though.
Yeah,
he's good. He's smooth for a big guy. He has a little jump shot. He finishes around the basket pretty well. Good presence inside. So I don't know. I'm not super worried. I know you're concerned.
Yeah.
I think Xavier is going to have a really good postseason. So I don't know. I know you.
It's
disagree.
not that I don't think they will. I think. Okay, so you have Colby Jones. He's the guard we mentioned, but he's over 50% from the field. Boom.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
Boom's a stud. Colby Jones is a stud.
Yeah, they're good guards. Over 17 a game for a Boom, and yeah, you brought him up. Nunge. Jeez, now we're gonna. Nunge he's also like really good. He's got quite the stat line. He's like 14 a game. I want to say like 2 blocks, or maybe a block, 2 assists, like 8 rebounds a night. Like really good numbers. But I mean, the big news for them the last few days is that they lost one of their starting forwards, Zach Fremantle. He's been out a month, left foot injury, but the school announced he's done. He's having surgery. There's no hope of him coming back, which I don't know. I guess why don't you think that would have as? I have more of a not a doomsday, but I view it as a lot bigger.
I guess just because they have the capability to play small. They have Nunge, obviously, who can block shots inside and can get rebounds and stuff like that. And they do a really good job of gang rebounding. The guards work to rebound and stuff like that. So I don't think rebounding will necessarily be as big of an issue as you'd think.
Yeah.
And they still get their points inside. And I don't know. Playing small just gives them so many more possibilities to run more. And I don't know. I think that offensively, it will probably not hurt as bad as defensively. But no, I don't see it derailing anything. It won't. It obviously is going to hurt them, but I don't think it'll be as bad as people think.
I will admit that, like, when you, I don't know, examine them a bit more, the loss, it's not as bad as, I guess, it's not like losing an Edey, obviously, or Jalen Wilson from Kansas. But I don't know, he was averaging 15 a night, a couple assists, and, like, beyond the stat sheet, though, I think the biggest thing for them is that with him, they only had 7 guys above, like, 10 and a half minutes.
That was one thing. I was going to say, too,
Yeah, so they have 6.
Depth could be a
So
big
who do they
question.
even play? I'm guessing they're playing probably a 7-man rotation, maybe 8 now, with just some guys coming in to
they probably have
minutes here and there, but that's a week.
Probably have a couple guys now. Instead of just his minutes, they probably got 2 or 3 guys that make up for what he
Which, see, I was kind of shocked when I saw that. I was like, oh, they have 7 guys without him. And I'm like, no, they don't. that was with him.
Right.
So
Yeah.
even like less deep than say Arizona in some ways, which is saying something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say this. This might be a
Yeah.
hot take, but before he was gone,
Yeah.
I think Xavier was potentially one of the best starting fives in the country. Like possibly number one.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. We have. I'm trying to think who their fifth man is.
I know what he looks like. I just can't. I don't remember his name. He's another guard. He's a little bit.
They play a lot.
He's
of
a little
guards.
bit bigger than Colby Jones, but has like a similar haircut and like
Okay.
I don't know. Has a similar look, but he's just a little taller.
Yeah.
I can't think of. He's okay. He's definitely not a shooter. He's more of a slasher. But he's all right.
Well, that's the thing. They have like.
He's a good complementary piece.
Yeah,
I mean, the other four.
When you have four kind of pretty big names.
Otherwise, yeah. So it's that guy. It's Jones, Boom, Fremantle, and then Nunji before.
Nunji, yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I don't know. They're still a tough out. I just don't, because after they lost him, they've been 6-3 since. They were 3-3 initially after Fremantle went out, so you could tell they were trying to figure things out. And then they're 6-3 now. They're trending in the right direction, but they haven't really. They beat Providence twice as of late, but Providence has dropped off.
Providence has really fallen off. Yeah.
When they play like a really good team, I don't know. I don't even think. I think they have some talent, but they have no depth, and I almost think their five is good, but against like elite starting five, I still think they're outmatched even there. I don't
Who would you say then?
I think Arizona has a better starting five than them.
Okay.
Even though we have like
similar. You got four good ones and then one that's
just kind of So, that was my first thought because I compare them because of Miller. I don't compare everyone to Arizona like that, but I just am like, how do they? Because they're both kind of not good with depth. I just think their ceiling's a lot lower now. I would say they may be a sleeper team before.
Strangely enough, I'd actually say Miami's pretty darn good. They're starting five.
Yeah.
Of Pack, Wong, Miller, O'Meara, and Poplar. That's pretty solid.
Especially if Poplar's
if he plays well, that starting five is crazy.
Yeah, if he's in shots I agree. Yeah. That's the thing. They have a good starting five, but I feel like I don't know, it's not even like
Houston's is good.
Without Fremantle, it's a dramatic drop off.
It will be.
Teams, which that says something. That's not saying they're a bad group. They're really good, but that just says the landscape this year.
Well, you want to move on to UConn, talk them a little bit?
Yeah. I don't know. Where do we start? I guess their hot start that Xavier kind of extinguished early on.
Yeah. That was their first loss, right? Weren't they 14?
I want to say 14, around there. Yeah.
And then
best team in the country, pretty much.
Who'd they beat in the non-conference? I know. I remember them beating Florida. I don't know why that one stands out. I know they smacked Florida bad, but besides that, I don't remember who they played.
Yeah,
they played some good teams. I think they beat Michigan State. I don't know. Anyway, started off the gates really hot, and then really struggled actually to start Big East play.
Oh yeah.
Before they kind of found their footing again and.
No, they lost 6 of 8, including that Xavier game. It was not a good stretch. They went from best team in the country, they lost to a good team, to they're in trouble. Like, what's going on? But it's 24-7. They finished the year 4th in the Big East.
I was going to say I didn't know if they were 3rd or 4th.
Yeah,
but 4th. Who's 3rd? Providence? No, not Providence.
Maybe Creighton.
Creighton came back too. They struggled for a while too.
No, they did. Yeah.
But that was more non-conference. They struggled, I guess.
They didn't live up to expectations kind of early, but they redeemed themselves.
Yeah.
UConn's early on, it was like they have one of the best front courts in the nation, which I think they probably do. I don't know. Starts with Sonogo.
Sonogo's good, yeah. He hasn't been playing that well lately. He just hasn't seen as many touches as I would think he would. Being that big, strong physical presence. I think they're giving him the Ballo treatment a little bit.
I thought about
where they're starting to shoot more threes and the guards are starting to play more and they're not really feeding it inside as much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They need to take advantage of that because but they've been playing pretty good they've
been playing fine. He just hasn't been
from him.
getting as many touches as he was at the very beginning of the year. So
Yeah, well, he's God.
he's a house.
Oh yeah,
He's a big
almost
dude.
17 a night.
Yeah.
He's I don't know, and it's not just him. It's I'm gonna butcher his name, Alex Caraban.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He's like their. I wouldn't say it's a twin towers, not quite that stature, but
Wow.
he's with alongside him in the
Yeah.
front court. He makes
Yeah.
him.
He's kind of a stretch forward though. Like
Yeah,
he plays outside a lot,
yeah, he can hit shots.
which is normal for them. They play mostly 4 out, 1 in. A lot of ball screens. Yeah, I don't know. They run Jordan Hawkins,
Yeah,
off of a ton of screens and just try to get him looks. And he's an incredible player. I assume he'll go to the draft this year. I don't know.
he's a
I haven't
sophomore. I'm not sure.
follow much NBA stuff, but
Yeah, who knows who they have?
he's
Yeah.
really good. He kind of reminds me of Keontae George from Baylor in a little bit.
Really?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, no, he's good. One thing I will say though, and this was a 1-game thing, but like at the end of that Xavier game,
Mm.
when they needed a 3 bad, he could not hit one to save his life, and that was just kind of the night they had.
Of the first game?
Yeah,
Okay.
first game. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Because I was going to say, I just watched the other one, and he hit like 6 threes in the second
Yeah.
half. So I wasn't sure if you were talking about that one. I was like, I don't
no.
think he didn't get a look. They needed a 3 at the end of that game,
Did
too.
they? Okay.
And he didn't even get the ball. It's crazy, though. They face guard him the whole time. And, like, Xavier actively face guarded him. They were in his grill the entire game, and he still put up nearly 30.
Yeah.
And, like, 22 or 24 in the second half.
Yeah, and they also have they have like a senior guard, which I think is good to note
Mhm.
for the tournament. Tristan Newton, he leads the team in assists, I guess, which
Yeah.
you like to see.
No,
4.5
he's
per
pretty
game,
good,
so.
actually. He's a good player.
So I
He
mean,
can score at kind of all 3 levels too. He's impressive. He gets to the hole hard. He shoots pretty well.
Yeah, and also one thing I noticed with them, which you would almost expect, okay, they have a really good front court, especially early on. They're making a lot of noise, and coming off the bench, they probably have no one. No, they have pretty good depth.
Calcaterra is a good shooter.
Yeah,
off the bench.
no, he's our best shooter.
Is he?
Yeah.
He comes out and they do the same thing they do with Hawkins. They run him off a bunch of screens and they just space the floor really well because of those 2 guys.
Yeah,
because they draw so much attention that like there's so much more space for the other guards to attack and Sonogo to work inside and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they have Donovan Klingen. Hopefully these names are after Nunge. That was intentional.
Okay.
Yeah. But after that, who knows? But anyway, he's another good player coming off the bench. He's like 2 blocks a game. I mean, I don't know. I just look for little things like that where it's like you kind of on the bench, you need spark plugs to come in. Maybe say someone's struggling, you need a big play. It's like the bench, you don't just have to buy time. They can do something.
Yeah.
I think it's big.
And that's the good thing about having a good coach. Dan Hurley, say what you want about him. Some people probably dislike him because he's kind of a hothead, but he's a really good coach. He makes a lot of adjustments. In that game against Xavier, they were down 16, I think, at half. And they came out the second half in a full court zone press. And then in the half court, they ran 1-3-1 and trapped in the corners and completely took Xavier out of their game, who was shooting unreal in the first half. And they forced like 10 to 15 turnovers in the second half alone and got right back into the game. So I don't know, just kudos to him for being able to make adjustments on the fly. It's always good when you have a coach that can see what's going on out there and make an adjustment to give your team the advantage. So,
well, yeah, think about like you go from being red hot, you're probably the most feared team. You lose, then you lose 5 more. But I mean, they've only had one other loss in that streak there. They lost at Creighton by 2, like February 11th.
Yeah.
So I mean, this team 5 straight, like they're kind of a sleeper for me, to be honest. I feel like we know how good they are from early on, and they had some adversity. They kind of, had a big, terrible streak, but
I've always
no,
had faith in
dangerous.
them. It's hard for me to go off of teams' ebbs and flows. Everyone has times where they look bad or they look good or whatever. UConn's had more of those times where they've been up and down.
Yeah.
But I like to just look at a team's makeup, and they have what it takes to be a Final Four team.
Yeah.
For sure. I think both of them do. I think Xavier
I
still has a
know.
possibility to get there too.
Yeah.
They're going to have to find some guys to step up, obviously, with the injuries and stuff. But I do think Xavier has a good chance to. I think both of these teams are pretty, I'd say dark horses maybe to make the Final Four.
I like UConn as a sleeper Final Four team. Xavier, I would say yes. They won't even be really not even much of a sleeper if they had Fremantle, I would say. I honestly at this point, I don't know. I just view that as too big of a loss. I think they're Sweet 16, you can flip back and forth. Even if they lost in the round of 32, I wouldn't be shocked. That's not even, I don't know.
Well, college basketball, I wouldn't be shocked if anyone gets beat at this point. So,
yeah.
The mid-majors are capable of doing it to anyone. We've seen it in the past.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's certain teams where it just shouldn't happen. There's some that are
like Kentucky last year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what
did happen though.
Well, that's the thing. That's what makes the upsets big. When some team that's kind of, they're good, but you don't know what you're gonna get every night.
When they get upset, it's like, oh yeah, we kind of see that one. But it seems like there's one every year that's just like, how in the world? What?
Yeah. For me, that would not be Xavier, though.
Yeah, you had Ohio State, Oral Roberts that one year. Yeah. I think that one was pretty shocking for me anyway.
I'm trying to think who that would even be like this year. Purdue's not a good example because
I would say
inconsistent.
Like Baylor.
I almost said Baylor too.
I don't know. I was trying to think of a 2 seed that's.
Yeah. Arizona.
That looks like they're going to do it. Arizona, yeah.
That'd be great. I
saw that the Bobcats, this is unrelated, but I saw that the Bobcats are a 16 projected if they win the conference. They have to play UCLA first.
That is not a terrible. It's not a terrible draw. I don't think.
I don't know about that, but.
Yeah, I actually think that might be.
As a 16?
Play Kansas?
Why'd they be a 16, though?
I'm play Kansas. Who else? Houston. I think those games go much worse.
Probably.
Alabama, yeah. Well, if Alabama's complacent.
No, I'm just saying as a 16, it's crazy.
That is kind of crazy, but I think they know Montana's going to beat them, so they have to just put it on the 16.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're thinking. As Montana State is a favorite. They're the only school. I was looking at the Sports Bet Montana today.
Of course you are.
And Montana State was the only team that was actually a favorite to win the tournament as of right now that was on there. Like they're minus 133.
For the Big Sky?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
No, for like every conference right now.
No other
like there is a favorite. Obviously, there's a team that has the best odds, but they're negative, meaning that like if you bet $10, you can't make more than 10 back. Like you'd make less than that.
Oh, that's weird.
They're the only team that was minus, yeah.
That says, I mean, in all seriousness, yeah, they should. I will admit I'm surprised they're 16. I'm obviously not a fan.
That was my point. It surprised me a bit. The Big Sky champion is like never a 16, so.
Yeah, and it's not like the conference has been super bad this year. I actually think they've had some really good teams.
Eastern Washington, when they were in first, was like a 13 or a 14 projected for most of the time.
So they lose 2 games and then the champion.
Yeah, it goes to a 16. It seems crazy to me, but
I can see 15 possibly.
Especially as a 2 seed. 15, sure, yeah. I just don't see 16. That seems bizarre.
Yeah. I don't know. That semis for that are tonight. Speaking, we have the ACC's first round is on.
Yeah.
Here. When does the Big East? I wonder when they start.
The Big East, they might start tomorrow or Thursday. Probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
there'll be some of the bottom teams will play.
Pac-12 starts tomorrow. I think by tomorrow all the big conferences are going. Yeah. Even the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so, I guess, big that because they play Sunday.
Yeah.
So they're just a large league.
Yeah, the Big Ten starts tomorrow.
Okay.
I think Wisconsin plays Ohio State, and Minnesota plays somebody bad. I don't remember.
Yeah, no.
The only other team that's not going to make the tournament in the Big Ten, besides Minnesota, there's two of them that were pretty bad. I can't remember. I don't know.
No, that was our Big East. We have to come back for Marquette. I don't know what the next two will do. I don't know. We'll see.
No, we'll see.
But yeah, you got a little bit of the Big East. Obviously, at least I can speak for myself. It's not like we can see every single game of the Big East. Just geographically and following the ACC and Pac-12 more. But I hope that helps.
One annoying thing with the Big East is that we usually watch ESPN, and most of their biggest games are on Fox. So it makes it kind of more difficult to have to go back and forth to stuff like that. But
it's a bit of an issue. But no, good conference this year. I think that should help you out. The Fremantle thing's big. Whether you like them or not, you need to know that, or you should. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. Soon. Like and subscribe, please. Bless you.